All right, which one should we start with?
Let's
Matt?
do Bernie hitting Biden.
Review. Okay, Bernie hitting Biden. This did you expect this, Ryan? What did you expect to happen last night?
I did expect Bernie to hit Biden.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt like practically, if there was one thing that was going to get him out of that hospital bed, it was going to be that I think he regretted not hitting Biden in the last debate, because if you watched him in the spin room afterwards, he had prepared remarks blasting away at Biden with like one camera in his face in the spin room and 5 people watching.
I wonder why he didn't deliver. That's fascinating. Okay, and then real quick before we play this last question, are you surprised that she didn't hit Biden? Is she waiting for something?
I want her to hit Biden because I think if she is going to do what we talked about earlier, which is create a left working class PMC coalition that's going to like take on power, she has to make that argument now to earn the mandate to do it. And I think she's not doing it because she's like that biker in that video where like you can see the finish line. She's in front. Like
she doesn't want. She's
holding
the ball.
Why
she's
at this
trying
point?
To count down the fourth quarter.
Just ride.
Right. Word. All right. Let's check this out. This is a great moment.
That'll get you to win, but it won't get you to change the country, which is.
And also, it won't get you. I mean, I'm not. When I tell people I'm scared of Warren going up against Trump, that is not just Bernie propaganda. I mean, a year ago, I thought most of these people might be able to beat Trump, and now I'm getting like increasingly terrified the more I watch these things, because Trump is no joke.
Trump reelected after an impeachment would be extremely dangerous.
In word. All right, let's check this out.
Good. For a total of 4 months. 4 months. Where do you get the rest? Where does it come from?
He's ready.
Senator Sanders, respond.
In 2 ways. Joe, you talked about working with Republicans and getting things done. But you know what you also got done, and I say this as a good friend. You got the disastrous war in Iraq done. You got a bankruptcy bill, which is hurting middle-class families all over this country. You got trade agreements like NAFTA and PNTR with China done, which have cost us 4 million jobs. And let's get to Medicare for all. Let's be honest. We spend twice as much per person as do the people of any other major country on earth. And the answer is, if we have the guts, and I would like to see the Democratic Party have that guts, to stand up to the drug companies and the insurance companies and tell them that the function of health care is to guarantee care to all people, not to make $100 billion in profit. If we stood together, we could create a great...
That was a great moment.
Yeah, and it was what people have been waiting for. And you know, people on his staff and close to him begging for that for months, and I think a lot of his supporters have been begging for it. And if the Bernie that we saw last night had been there the entire campaign, I think it'd be a different election right now. I don't think he's out of it by any stretch.
I was going to say, I mean, don't you think? I mean, and by the way, I always say, like, in the positive sense, I think Bernie absolutely can still win this thing, and then in like the depressing sense, Joe Biden could still pull this out. I mean, maybe not. It's starting. He is really starting to tread. Yeah, that's true. But it's still relatively early, is my point.
Right. I mean, there's still polls that have him hanging in. His supporters, surveys show, are the least likely to be following the news, which means it's
good for him.
It's good for him because they didn't watch that. They were watching the ball game, or they weren't watching anything, or they're working, whatever. And so they're going to be the slowest to drop away from him when it just kind of permeates the political atmosphere that he's dead.
Right.
Which actually is terrible for Pete Buttigieg or whoever wants to replace him, because if Biden's corpse won't like get out of the top tier, there's no room for.
You don't want to use corpse language with that guy now. Eye
bleeding, teeth falling out.
Oh my gosh.
So it leaves Bernie with a path.
Yep.
You know, if he surprises in Iowa, it could be the only time when the media's utter disregard and contempt for Sanders actually pays off to his benefit, because his winning Iowa would be such a surprise. Like, wait a minute, nobody even told us he was running except when he had a heart attack.
Right.
And now he's won Iowa. That could, launch him into New Hampshire. He's well set up in Nevada because it's a working class and it's a caucus state. A ton of service workers there.
Right.
And because it's a caucus, you can organizing pays off a lot more than it does in a primary state where TV and other mass media helps a lot more. And then you roll into Super Tuesday from there, where he already has serious organizing operations in California and a bunch of the other Super Tuesday states. But so a lot of it depends on I mean, not a lot of it. To me, I think everything depends on Iowa.
Really? Yeah. I mean,
because if he comes out of Iowa, Iowa has this 15% threshold.
Right.
Where if you're under 15%, you get 0.
Right.
And so if anybody comes in under 15%, they're effectively dead because now they're coming into New Hampshire, and New Hampshire voters, they self-style themselves as president pickers. So
it's such a fucking ludicrous system.
Pathetic.
Can I just
The
say,
whole
like,
thing,
as a side, like, what are we talking
like
about?
Dr. Seuss.
and apologies to the Tulsi fans, but she stood up.
No, they already hate this show, man.
She stood up on. I bet they do. Actually, she stood up on behalf of Iowa and New Hampshire voters recently and said she was going to boycott the debate because the media and the DNC were winnowing the field rather than, in the past, Iowa and New Hampshire winnowing the field. And I think she's actually right, that she's observing a real trend that is happening, that it is the media. You have a 2-year-long campaign.
Right.
Iowa can't do the whole job for you anymore.
Right.
I don't necessarily, I don't love that it would be the DNC and the corporate media, not just the corporate media, but the rest of the media. But on the other hand, really, Iowa, New Hampshire, that's the best we can do.
It's. I mean, look, all love, but it's ludicrous.
So that's why it kills you if you die in Iowa. Then New Hampshire voters don't want to vote for you, and particularly if he gets beaten by Warren, where Massachusetts and New Hampshire right next to each other, that would give Warren then Iowa and then New Hampshire, and from that point she's got a lot of momentum.
But I mean. Yeah, but I mean, it strikes right. But like, okay, and people are saying Biden's done in Iowa. I don't know.
Biden is such a hack. He's barely hired much staff in Iowa. He's barely raised any money. He has. It just came out yesterday. He's $9 million.
I thought it was under 9.
Yeah, under $9 million cash on hand.
Crazy.
And he probably owes consultants 8 of that already.
Right.
So, and who wants to give him money at this point? All the money's going to Pete anyway. I mean, there's a lot of money, so not all of it is going to him. But
I'd vote for Joe over Pete. I just want to put that down on the record very clearly. I would definitely vote for Biden.
My God,
I loathe Pete Buttigieg.
I have never thought about that choice before.
It's a painful choice, right?
Eating me up.
I'm sorry to do that to you. You just watched a Michael Brooks show video. Subscribe to get them all. Why wouldn't you? Don't be foolish. Click subscribe below and become a patron as well. Patreon.com/TMBS. Thanks, everybody.